So, the day has finally happened. The day we were all waiting for. Tommy Robinson is finally out of prison. And we've talked about Tommy a lot on this channel over the time he has been in prison. It's kind of what's drawn a lot of you to my channel, so I thought it was only right to really make this statement about kind of the dawn of a new era of fighting for patriotism, because the treatment he has gone through in prison this last time has been so widespread, and that was mainly thanks to online new media platforms like myself and like Maya Tusi, and also X and people like Elon Musk, who, as we all know, managed to platform the documentary, which is the reason he was in there in the first place, and has managed to keep that up. And he very rightly thanked Elon in his statement when he first came out. But because it has been so widespread, at least in my opinion, and this should be the case, it cannot be denied now the corruption and the smear campaign that has been targeted at Tommy since his activism first started in 2009. And he said this in the Urban Scoop interview as well. I'm sure we've all seen it. And the aim of that was to silence him and to break him down, and especially the way that he was treated in prison this last time especially was to try and break him. But the man we saw yesterday, despite the jihadi beard and the hairdo, that, you know, as they makes him look like the type of people he's trying to fight against, right? But he's all sorted now. But the man that we saw was not broken. In a way, I was expecting him to look worse than he did. Again, despite the hairdo, I was expecting him to look a little bit more subdued and a little bit more worn out, because they did wear him out, and they did, as I say, try and break him down in prison. But the man that we saw very much still had that fight in him. And as Maya Tusi was saying, you know, when he was still in prison and when he was going to visit him, his fight was still there. He didn't lose it entirely, but he was definitely, obviously we knew about his mental health struggles and everything in prison, and he was definitely beaten down a little bit. But the man that we saw really had that revived sense about him now that he is now out in the open again. Not entirely a free man, because as we know, he's got court dates coming up in the 5th of June, I think it is. But you could see it in his eyes. Again, past the wacky hairdo, you could see it in his eyes that he is still the same man. And that, in a way, gave me the most hope. Now, the 5th of June, as we know, is his next court date, because the fight is not over on his side, at least. They are still trying to silence him. They're still trying to basically keep him in prison, to hopefully kill him off in some way. Of course, they're still after him. That's just, of course, that's the way it is. But, and he's got to fight that himself. Obviously, it's his court thing, but we have also got to fight for this message. You know, the fight is not over. In fact, the real fight starts now, and I think that's what I've titled this video. But of course, the biggest thing that came out of what he said yesterday was the 13th of September, which he had to move specifically because originally it was going to be Maya's wedding day. But Maya's going to be in his honeymoon now, which is crazy. But regardless, 13th of September in London is the next rally. I might be there. This is not a guarantee. I'm still, because being up north, I'm still so far away from London. But I might be there, and I'm hoping to be there. It would be really, really good if I could be there, especially great coverage for the channel, but also I just want to be there and kind of show my support. It'd be like, you know, this is, again, really the time for us to step up, and, you know, the fight starts now. And hopefully that rally is gonna mark the start of this fight, really. The start of this new grassroots campaign to really cure the country of this sick disease that is harming women and girls, and of course everyone else with terrorism and stuff. You know, it's not just all about the rape gangs, as much as that is a big thing, obviously. This is also the people who come in and cause terrorism and other crimes as well. And we are a diseased country because of that, and because of how bad this has got. And I think now more than ever we really need to think about the fact that Tommy had always been saying this from the beginning. It's just now more of us are actually waking up to that and thinking, wow, this is somebody that we should not have been thinking was racist, should not have been thinking was far right, because never was. Like he was mentioning with the riots last summer, you know, about how the Kier Starmer and everyone was trying to paint this is the far right, this is the EDL, which ended 10 years ago. which we mentioned in my original video, like back in the summer, where I was talking about this as well. But yeah, this is really where we've really got to kick ourselves into gear and think, yes, the hope, as I say, the hope that I gained from the fact that you could very much still see the fight, and that this was definitely still the Tommy that we love and we support, is really got to be translated to the rest of us now, you know. And I feel like we really need to harbour that and move forward with so much more strength now that we have so many more people behind this message, and just get that truth out there. Now, if you're a regular follower of this channel, you know that I've not been uploading for the past like 3 weeks. Just a little bit of a disclaimer as to where I've been. Also, yeah, I cut my fringe yesterday and I'm not mad. Anyway, but the reason I was a bit quiet over the past few weeks mainly was because of work. I work part-time in retail and my shifts just weren't aligning very well with like my filming days. Normally I do try and upload on Wednesdays, so they just weren't aligning. Also, I probably went through the worst, this is like if you're a woman you'll relate, I went probably like through the worst luteal phase, like PMS, like anxiety, depression type fucking sadness that I've been through for quite a few months. It was a bit intense, and yeah, I just was not in the headspace to be filming. Plus there wasn't really a lot for me that I could feel was significant enough for me to make a podcast about. If you're new to this channel and you're wondering what this channel is and what I'm on about with the podcast, this is my politics and makeup podcast. Normally what I do is I sit down and I talk about politics and I do my makeup at the same time, and it's just a nice little friendly discussion. I really love what I do over here, and it's a really fun time. You know, we try and make a lot of like the heavier topics a lot more approachable and a lot more digestible, rather than like the strict journalism, which is done very well by people like My2C and Dan Wootton and all these people who I'm sure you all watch. But if you want a more like, okay, let's chill, let's still keep it serious if we're talking about something really serious, but let's, you know, let's keep it a little bit more chill, let's have a little bit more of a lighter discussion about these things. That's what this channel is about. And as I say, I do my makeup at the same time because I like makeup. If you go back on my channel, you see like all the thumbnails where I show the makeup, and like, you know, it's all in the thumbnails. You see what it is if you go to my channel. But yeah, just wanted to make this statement today because obviously this is really a significant moment for the people on our side of politics, and just the UK and the country in general. You know, this is a massive thing because Tommy is such a big figure in our lives and really should continue to be. So yeah, this is where things start. This is where the real fight begins. Let's keep each other updated on everything, and I know I will with anything that happens. And yeah, this is really exciting. I'm feeling the optimism, and I'm feeling like this is going to be a good time now, where people can really band together and put a stop to this, at least as much as we possibly can. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video, which will hopefully be one of my full-length podcasts, if I get some things together, and I'll be doing my normal, like, hour-long episodes, doing my makeup. But yeah, hope you're all doing well. Patriotism is certainly not dead, especially with Tommy Robinson now being with us again. We'll see for how long, and we'll see the result of the court dates, and I'll talk about that, I'm sure, on the podcast. But yeah, hope you're all doing well, hope you have a good day, and I will see you guys in my next one. And also, if you're new to the channel, go back and watch some of my old podcast episodes, especially about Tommy, so you'll know, you know, just have a gander and subscribe. See you guys in the next one.